Let this next segment showcase how I have absolutely nothing to do on the weekends while everybody else is having a social life. So I, do things like this. Greetings, fellow Vita fans. This is James with PS Vita at 2 a.m. coming at you once again with another exciting video. And if you're new here and love everything PlayStation Vita, don't forget to subscribe. And make sure to leave me your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. So, a social life. Do you have one? I don't have one. And that's why I play the following games I'm about to talk about right now. So if you don't have a social life much like me, then let's not have a social life together with the following games. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So the first game that doesn't make me hunger for any other type of human companionship is Kick and Fennick. Dang, that's really sad. Now for some reason, every time I think about this game, I always think of the cartoon series Phineas and Ferb. I am not 100% sure why, maybe because there's two names in the title with each of these, but for whatever reason, yeah, I get confused. And a little bit of a hidden gem here we have on our hands, people. I mean with Kick and Fennick, not Phineas and Ferb. Everybody knows about that show, except me. So what does this game make you exactly do? Well, it's about a boy, some sort of bot-like thing, and well, he's carrying a really big gun. And you know what they say about people with really big guns? Really big hands. But what we have on our hands here is a puzzle platformer. Now you figure in your own mind right now that, okay, well, this is a platformer, so obviously you should be able to do the simple mechanic of jump, right? I mean, that's what a platformer is all about. Wrong. Well, you might be kind of shocked to find out that this game does not have a jump button. Yeah, cue the music. Oh, but don't worry here, the game knows exactly what it's doing, because instead of the whole jump mechanic that you would expect from normal platformers, you have a high-powered plasma rifle that is, well, I guess it's almost just as good, and you will be using said rifle to launch yourself up into the air. The devs were most likely on crack when they thought of that idea, but man does it work. This is a pretty big physics-based platformer, not just with puzzle elements sprinkled in. Well, at least they thought outside of the box, I guess. So as you're able to propel yourself with said rifle, you will also be able to do it twice before having to reload, kind of simulating a double jump, but not really at the same time, if that makes any sense, which I know it doesn't. Apparently with the devs, I guess it did. But trust me, the physics might seem a little bit weird, but it'll become second nature to you when you actually play the game. With a ton of challenging puzzles, a nice whimsical storyline, and in my opinion, a pretty lovable cast of characters, even though there's not a ton, this game was sadly overlooked on the PS Vita, and I think that you should give it a second look, or possibly a first look if you've never heard of it. You have a really big gun. Now going back to one of my favorite imports on the PS Vita, going back because I've already beaten the game, but I was just so nostalgic to play it again. And you had nothing better to do, remember? I do! This is Madoka Magica. Yeah, it might surprise some to know that there actually exists a Madoka Magica game on the PS Vita, but sadly it never came out in English. Man, Japan really does get all of the good stuff. Now if you're a fan of this franchise, the whole game takes place as a sort of what-if scenario to one of the Madoka Magica movies, meaning that some of the choices you make in-game will affect how the story and its ending outcome or happen. But sadly, because you'll be playing this game most likely in Moon language, you're not really gonna know what's going on. So I would highly recommend first to watch the actual movie and the series because it's really great, and then jump into the actual game. That, or I guess, learn Japanese. I'm too lazy to do that though, so I just stumble through stuff. Now what I like about this title is that the game features a dynamic daytime and nighttime sequence. At daytime, players can talk with the magical girls and strengthen their bonds, while at nighttime, players battle witches, the results of which can affect your bonds with the magical girls. And depending on who you choose as a partner, because yes, this is a two-party adventure here, will actually strengthen the bond between the two girls as well as when they battle each other via a boss fight. And in order to get the good ending for this, like the actual best ending, you're gonna have to strengthen all of the girls' bonds in all possible scenarios. Now with only around 5 characters to play, you might think that this might not be the biggest deal, but trust me, it's gonna take quite a lot of grinding to get everybody's companionship maxed out. And you can do your standard things such as team-up attacks, melee combat, special moves which only require the push of 1 or 2 buttons simultaneously, and all the other good stuff that you find in 3D action platformers. Now if I did have to choose one nitpick about this title, it's that when you get to the end boss on your first playthrough, it is like almost impossible to beat because you are at such a low level and everybody's companionship has not been maxed out yet that, yeah, it's very difficult. But on the flip side, by the time you do get everybody's companionship companionship maxed out, you're at such a high level at that point that the boss is basically a pushover. Much in the way I am whenever playing fighting games online. So I do feel they could have done a little bit better in that aspect. But oh well, it's a Madoka Magica game on the PS Vita. And aside from a few frame rate dips every now and then, it's a pretty decent 3D action game. Pick up a copy and find out for yourself. And also be very bitter at Japan for always getting the good stuff. Now, I myself am a huge fan of puzzle games, and there's no more a classic than the Tetris series. Though, does anyone else find it kind of confusing that they named this Tetris Ultimate instead of Ultimate Tetris? I don't know, anyone else catch that? But anyway, it's a title that sold millions of Game Boys back in the day. Much to my wide-eyed 7-year-old self, I think I'm having my first midlife crisis. Now, you think there wouldn't be a whole lot of critique when it comes to Tetris, right? I mean, how do you mess up this kind of formula? Line up a bunch of blocks in the row and earn points. Well, for the most part, I do really enjoy this game. It's Tetris in its most purest form. There are absolutely no gimmicks whatsoever. It plays just like the old Tetris games did back in the 80s and 90s. However, there was one thing that I didn't really like about this particular version. Confusing title aside. And believe me, it's not what you think. And that is the choice of music that they chose for this game. That's the most standout thing here for me. Yeah, I know, you wouldn't expect that for a puzzle game, right? But the music really was a deciding factor, at least in my personal opinion, as to how much you will enjoy this game, because you see, although you do get all of the classic Tetris tunes, for whatever reason, every track, and I do mean every track, plays in a very somber-like mood. I would even go as far as to say it's just sometimes outright depressing. That's not very ultimate. Everything here just plays out very low-key, almost as if the music composers were very depressed while they were putting the soundtrack together. Hey, maybe they didn't have anything to do on a Saturday night either. Even many of the tracks that are usually very upbeat in the franchise are quite, I don't know, just sad in this version. And the monochrome blue screen in the background certainly didn't help either. So why exactly did I decide to go back to this one? I don't know. I mean, it was one of the first physical titles I ever bought on the PS Vita back in my hunting days, and I just kind of felt like re-experiencing it. Depressing music and all. But I will say, if the music doesn't bother you, then yeah, you'll have a Tetris-like rompin' good old time. I guess that comes close enough to a sentence now, right? And that'll just about do it for all of the games I have currently been playing in December 2022, because I have absolutely no social life. So everyone, I'd love to know, what games are you currently playing on your PS Vita in December of 2022? Or what games are you just playing in general, even if they're not on the PS Vita? It makes for interesting discussion, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. This video has been brought to you in part by all of these wonderfully generous supporters who help make this content possible. So a huge thank you goes out to Hero Acer, Adam Sondi, PS Vita S, Richard Cruz, Joseph Shavak, Jelly, H-Hitter, Michael O'Connor, BMF, Claimer Malarkey, VG Legends, Jared Haddo, Kevin Enright, Heston Joseph, Crazy Cat, Rodrigo Vera, Phantom XRS, Saul Ramirez, Kyle Brooks, JR, Silica, Per Sterner, Adam Thury, Skulshire Tugel TCG, Gutter Drums, Hemdall Imbert, Wendy K, David Ray, Buzz Sayan, Razel Pliskin, 1488 Dental, Azumara, Nintendo Switch at 2 AM, Donut Valley, Ricardo Martinez, Dr. Super Artie, Hector Gonzalez, Kayonko, Urzin Mystery, Juan M. Hermosillo, Eric DeWitt, Tasha Monty, Mozgus, Matt Hargett, Franz Hartle, Aridri, No Good, Lacerated 87, Starlight Mirror, PSP Guru, Jamie, Chris Foxhound, That Bro, Zenkai Ranger, Saban Fire, Airkick 72, Werthorga, Zacrito, Alan Iwazu, Shin Snake, Meshuga 360, Legion 21, B Mystery, Matt Fox, Reiko Star, Neo Arashi, Milk Sama, Bushin Ryu Cat, Rendi Azudich, Samai 241. And a big thank you to Michael Marchand and Thomas Cromet for the recent outside donations. If you would be interested in supporting the channel and gaining access to a number of perks, including having your name featured on the end credits of these videos, or if you wish to remain anonymous, that can be provided too, then make sure to check the links down in the description below. I have numerous ways for you to do this down there. Can't support in this manner? Don't worry about it. I also have some affiliate links from both Amazon and PlayAsia for anyone who is interested in purchasing buying something from them. Basically, the way it works is so long as you use one of those links to just access their website, then anything you purchase afterwards, a small commission will go to help support this content at no extra cost to you, the consumer. I also have channel merchandise available, and of course, as always, likes and shares can help equally as much. Okay, time to make my Saturday night plans. Let's see here now. 1. Do nothing. 2. Do nothing. 3. Cry for an hour into my pillow. And 4. Play Vita games. Yeah, that sounds about right.